This week on Video Game Tango, we add our pixels to r/place, Sony reveals their new tiered subscription service, Halo Episode 2 is out, E3 is cancelled, there are NFTs in a Formula 1 game that no longer exists, Chrono Cross has been remastered, and Ubisoft joins the game late with their own version of a Battle Royale.
This is Nick, and due to the number of redos we've engaged in tonight, we are all majority shareholders of Take-Two Interactive.
Hi, I'm Josh, and I lost a screaming match to actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
My name is Andy, this is Video Game Tango, and I want to give a special thank you to Shia LaBeouf for being on the podcast to talk about the upcoming PlayStation 6. So we spent about the last 30 minutes or so recording an episode of the Video Game Tango podcast.
It was good stuff.
We talked about r/place, which was a really good candid conversation. The issue is that unfortunately we had Shia LaBeouf screaming over the entirety of the stream so far.
You heard that right. Actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Our guest Shia LaBeouf was talking over us the entire time.
We were unaware due to technical goblins.
Yeah, so we're re-recording the podcast, and instead of pretending that we
Never had that conversation.
We're talking this conversation the first time again. We'll go over what we talked about, but mostly we're gonna burst right through that. Get to some gaming news. I can tell you right now, it's gonna be a short show. It's been a bad week for gaming news. So hopefully, what I can do is put out some extra content, good or not. We'll find out. So either on the YouTube channel or on however you listen to your podcasts, there might be a little something extra coming to you this week.
Yeah, if you want to watch a blunder that goes on.
Oh boy,
Down Under.
it's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole thing.
We actually did talk about Australia for a little while too. I mean, that was fun.
We did, yeah. We talked about redbacks.
All the while LaBeouf was yelling.
Yeah, and he was just, just do it. So
Do it.
So here's a Video Game Tango podcast. So about r/place, mostly what we talked about was like how kind of an enigma it is, and how massively popular it became and how quickly. To watch something that organic happen on the internet is always like a pleasure to watch.
For those of you not in the know, it's essentially a canvas. Everyone can draw a single pixel every 5 minutes or so, and a bunch of really cool emergent art arrives. Happens on April 1st, once 2017, and now this year in 2022. Looking forward to the next one.
Hopefully, it's not 5 years. I think we talked about it was neat that as a community globally, we came together. We saw a lot of like a snapshot of the internet as it is today. We saw a lot of different countries' flags. It was definitely a really neat project. A lot of cool art in there. It was awesome. Check it out.
And then I want to bring up the streamers again real quick. The most fun I had with it by far was watching streamers fuck with it. Not only just fuck with it, because they were going through and mass deleting stuff with their large audiences. Asmongold, Hassan Piker, and XQC.
Fighting the good fight.
Sometimes getting rid of some of the crypto stuff and trying to free up some of the space from bots, essentially, is I think mostly what they were doing. They did attack the bronies a little bit and trying to get the MLP stuff off the board. But other than that, mostly just getting rid of the extra bro-y crypto stuff. And then just watching their massive audiences tackle getting not only just removing stuff from r/place, but also adding their own stuff, their own custom art to r/place. And I thought that was a lot of fun, especially the collaboration we got between multiple content creators, multiple streamers, and watching people that I follow kind of contribute and change organically how this thing was laid out and what art was available and not available anymore.
Yeah, very neat.
Yeah, super cool stuff. So on the news docket, we have a new PlayStation Plus subscription.
Well, 3 of them, actually.
Well, yeah, it's a new model. So what we're getting PlayStation Plus Essential. It is $10 a month or $60 per year. That's for us in the States. There is PlayStation Plus Extra. Awesome name.
I prefer plus.
I do too.
Plus squared.
Or just anything. Like literally any name is better than Plus Extra.
Yeah.
Plus Premium is the third tier. Now, Plus Extra is going to be $15 a month or $100 a year, and Plus Premium is going to be $18 a month or $120 a year.
Yep.
It's launching in a few Asian countries now, and it'll be in the States, it looks like sometime in June. The date is to be decided still. What you're going to get. So PlayStation Plus Essential is effectively what you were getting with PlayStation Plus before. No real changes there. Now, with PlayStation PlayStation Plus Extra, rather, you're going to be getting what was PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. So you're going to get the ability to get more games and stream some of your games to your PlayStation console. Now, with PlayStation Plus Premium, which has honestly got me a little bit excited. So for, what was it, $180 a year? $120 a year. For $120 a year, you'll be able to get up to 400 PlayStation 4 titles. But what they're introducing with that as well is a bunch of their back catalog from PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PSP. That's up to 340 additional games with this tier.
Just get access to them while you have the subscription?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. These games will only be able to be streamed. You won't be able to keep them locally. But with modern game streaming services as good as they're getting, I think as long as you're not playing competitive games, which why would you? I mean, you're not going to play the PS3 version of Call of Duty, or like even earlier. Like, I don't think anybody's going to be jumping on and playing like early Call of Duty games from the PlayStation 2 era, right? So as long as you're not playing like competitive online games, you're probably going to have a pretty decent experience. If PlayStation Now has been any indicator, it's a solid service with solid latency, no real issues on the back end there. Of course, there's a little bit of concern about security, being that it's Sony, but these are services that they already essentially provided with a little bit of extra sprinkled on top to justify your few extra dollars a month that you're spending.
So having used a PS4 and PS3 and PS2 and PS1, back in the day, you had access to buy certain older PlayStation games from a previous generation. They were usually a bit overpriced, but you could at least buy them. And then you owned them on that console, and you could play them as you wish. What I'm hearing now is with the most recent generation, they're giving you access again, but this time you have to pay a subscription fee, and you have to stream it.
Yep.
Okay. That sounds like a downgrade to me. Sounds like now not only am I having to not just make a one-time purchase for a game. Sure, $120, you get 400 games, dollar per game value is really, really low. But are you going to play all of those games? Probably not.
Probably not. But there's also nothing keeping you in that subscription model if you decide to say you're like, okay, I've played all the PS1, PS2, PS3, and PlayStation or PSP games that I want to play. Go ahead and downgrade your tier. Go back to the PlayStation Plus Extra. You can stream modern games that you might want to stream, or you just go back to
downgrade. Do they give you a rebate on the money you've spent?
Not on the money you spent. So if you buy the year, you're locked in for the fucking year. Yeah. But you can also do the monthly thing if you want to. So it depends. I mean, spend your money smartly in the way that you want to, right? But if you are somebody that likes to go back and play games from your old catalog, and you don't have those consoles, readily available to you, say you took down your PlayStation 2 like I did and traded it in for beer money, then this might be a really good way to get back into PS2 games, especially seeing that even that era those games are hard to come by now, especially in their hard copies. And we have to remember that not all of these games have been emulated on like the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4 yet, and probably never will be. Like, I don't think there's ever going to be a time that you're going to be able to go back and play Ring of Red unless they decide that they're going to put it up on PlayStation Plus Premium, right?
I mean, at least legally.
At least legally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this, and also easily. I mean, this is.
Yeah, it is very easy just to drop the money and play the game.
Yeah.
Assuming the streaming service works. I streamed some games on the PS4, Katamari Damacy in particular, and there was roughly a second and a half of latency between button input and the screen doing something. It was unplayable.
Interesting. Was that at your home network? Because your home network sucks.
That was at Sierra's, and it was last year.
Okay.
So hopefully it's a lot better.
Yeah.
I imagine a year of cloud gaming has come a long way. So, grain of salt with what I said. I don't know how it looks now. But, yeah, I mean, if the audience knows anything about me by now, I'm a fucking grumpy old man. And what I hear is that you're now having to pay more money for something you didn't used to have to pay as much money for. So hopefully it works out. Hopefully they have a really good catalog. 400 games is a lot. There are a lot of PlayStation games, and not all of them are good. But we'll see. We'll see how it pans out.
I think it's certainly better than Nintendo's model. Just gonna be honest. I think it's a lot better than PlayStation or than Nintendo's model for their eShop.
Well, I mean, they're not trying to compete against Nintendo's model, right? They're trying to compete against Xboxes.
Oh yeah, this is a direct Xbox Game Pass comparison.
So and like how does it stack up? How does it stack up compared to the Game Pass in your opinion? The Game Pass is cheaper, right? On the Ultimate there?
Well, the Game Pass is a handful of different games that rotate every month as compared to paying a monthly or yearly fee for a set number of games.
Kind of. So Xbox Game Pass, most of the native Xbox games, and especially the ones that are published or made by Microsoft suites, those are going to be on Game Pass in what they've said in perpetuity. So those should always be accessible to you. Now, third-party titles, yes, those often rotate, but some of them also they keep their games up on Game Pass, especially smaller developers. They keep their games up on Game Pass because it makes them a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm not educated on it. I don't have Game Pass. It's just the knowledge I had.
It's been really Game Pass has been excellent for small developers because it gives them the exposure that they wouldn't have otherwise had. They put their game up and people see free game rather than the games that I'm already paying for, right? So it gives them exposure. These games are getting played whereas they may have not previously. So it does some good things for the ecosystem. Regardless of how you feel about games as a service, it is putting money in the hands of developers that are, a lot smaller studios. So that is at least a good side effect of what's going on.
But it sounds like PlayStation XPS is not doing that.
No, they're
first party only.
It doesn't. No, it's not first party only. There are going to be non-first party titles as well.
I did see that they were having some third party games on there as well. Yes.
Definitely.
But you need the plus, the double plus extra to access the third party games.
Plus premium.
I thought I read it in the.
It might be plus really extra. Just like the phrase plus.
But I do like the phrase plus. But they were laying it out what you were getting for plus, and they laid it out what you're getting for premium. They were a little nebulous what you get for the in-between model there.
So plus extra, stop calling it plus. I told you that was going to be confusing, and you've already confused me, somebody that's educated on the topic. So plus extra,
Sony's fault.
The $15 a month service, or $100 per year, features up to 400 PS4 and PS5 games. The description of the extra tier is a bit vague, but subscribers will be able to download the games in the library to their console to play.
Oh.
So those aren't the streamed ones. The streamed games come with premium. Those are the ones that are from older consoles, okay? It'll include both first-party and third-party games. Considering the number of games in this tier, it sounds pretty much like a combination of PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, which will be continued in June. So what I said earlier. But it's confusing, right? Mm-hmm. The whole, the tiered plans are confusing. At least Xbox Game Pass is a little bit more transparent.
Streamlined?
Right. Because you get Game Pass. You can get Game Pass for Windows, which means that you're just going to get the PC games. You can get Game Pass for console, which means that you're going to just get the console games. Or you can get Game Pass Ultimate, which means you're going to get all of them plus their streaming packages, right? So essentially 3 tiers, but they're separated well enough that it's not as confusing because they're separated by platform. You get it for Windows, or you get it for Xbox, or you get it for both, and getting both gives you some extra cool stuff, including Xbox Live Gold, which that does add a couple of confusing things because there still is games with gold where they have the rotating games for gold thing they had going on for quite some time. I think they're getting rid of that. There's been talk about it, at least, that I've seen from some articles talking about what does Microsoft do with games for gold, right? especially since the Xbox Game Pass is what gives a lot of people Xbox Live Gold at this point.
Well, the thing is games for gold, that game is yours to keep now once you download it. That's your game. So that's still kind of a neat service.
Yeah.
And I mean, I see why Microsoft wants to get rid of it, I suppose. But yeah, games for gold, that's what that does, is that game's yours now. That's a nice little, hey, here you go. And I think they should continue that because hey, here you go to your supporters is very nice.
I wouldn't mind, but putting it under the same umbrella as Game Pass might just make things a little bit.
It's just giving you a
simpler.
free game a month. Yeah. But I mean, just give someone the free, like, here's the free game you can download to be yours.
Yeah.
Not as long as you have the subscription, but
something,
thanks for being a fan.
Something a little bit more like what Humble does.
Yeah.
Humble, if you join their subscription service, you get free games every month. And, well, I mean, you're paying for them through your subscription service, but you're getting games every month. You don't necessarily know which games you're going to get because it's going to be from a list to choose from, depending on, unfortunately, the tier that you choose with the Humble game.
It's like HelloFresh, but for video games.
Basically, yeah, pretty much.
One thing to consider, and it's been proven in the mobile game industry, is that if you can confuse your buyers on what exactly it is they're paying for, you will make more money. If you have 3 different freemium currencies and there's 90 gems per platinum coin and $1.20 per 3 platinum coins, people pay more money.
Yep.
So I kind of wonder if that's kind of the route vein they're going with PlayStation.
It may very well be.
You know?
Yeah.
Money is money.
The unfortunate thing, like, at least what I'm seeing here is transparency with what you're going to be getting with these subscription services versus something like the Netflix model that doesn't mention that if you don't get the absolute top tier, you're only going to get 720p videos delivered to most of your devices. Ew. I fucking hate that. It means that I've got to spend $18 a month so I don't have to watch potato Netflix shows. It's usually greedy. From one screen at a time. Yeah, I have to get the entire family plan so I can get 1080p video.
That's greedy.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's awesome. And of course, dude, okay, so we talked...
That's like a hotel that charges for Wi-Fi.
Right.
Okay, that's chintzy.
I want
chintzy.
I want to bitch for a minute. Let's go back to Halo.
Yeah.
Okay. Regardless of how the show.
Okay.
Regardless of how you feel about the show, my issue that I take is Halo was my first experience with Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Same here.
Paramount Plus is so I understand that I'm trying to watch the new Halo show on the night that it comes out. Their servers are probably getting hit fucking hard. The issue that I take with the quality of video that I was being served is that because I was on my PC, I was getting fed like 144p video. It was actually unwatchable. Now I'm watching from an above HD resolution monitor. I'm watching from a 1440p monitor, and it's supposed to be a 1080p stream. I know that I'm not going to get a great experience from that because the pixel density has changed. I know that it's not going to look as crisp as it would on a 1080p screen, but it's what I have. Now, the problem that I have is that as soon as I moved to my iPad, I was watching native resolution content immediately. This is something that I've noticed that is been happening with a lot of the streaming services. When I watch Hulu, looks like absolute dog shit. When I watch Netflix, looks like absolute dog shit. And my PC is how I engage with this content almost always. I'm very rarely watch it from a TV. In fact, our main TV in the house is used as a tool for broadcasting the podcast. It drives me nuts. Fucking crazy. I understand that the way people are going to steal your content is from the PC, right? They're going to run something like an OBS or some kind of stream capture to capture your whatever show you're watching and distribute it on the Pirate Bay or whatever. That's going to happen regardless. So why punish your regular average user that just wants to watch an episode of Breaking Bad on their laptop with sub HD streams down to like 480p, pixelated as shit because of the device that they decide to watch on?
I mean, it comes down to money. And if I had to guess, I'd say the vast majority of the people watching Netflix or Paramount Plus or whatever are not watching on their PC. And when you combine that with the fact that you just mentioned that now makes sense, some PC users are probably trying to pirate their shit. Why would they give some small percentage of their viewers that high quality when they know that 40, 50, 80% of their viewers are on phones and iPads?
Because I would speculate.
Could I?
Yeah.
Now, I might be a bit of an idiot here, but how do they know it's not your phone or not your tablet?
Oh, they can tell the device by the devices tell it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'm the computer, so give me the shit. Whereas like, cause I get crystal clear quality on my phone, like doesn't matter which streaming service I'm using.
I can tell you down to the browser, whether it's mobile, whether it's the PC.
Okay.
All this info is going to be shown to the app and they're going to see that.
So now my question, I guess, real question is on this is, with a VPN, could you block that? So it would appear to be
reading the device.
What device
you're streaming from?
That's a good question that I don't know the answer to.
I don't know.
Like, because because you can do it to make it so your internet is coming from Belgium or wherever the fuck it is you want it to be from. But can you make it so no, it's my phone, not my PC. Don't worry about it.
So the agent so chat's letting us know. No, the agent is reported. A lot show up as Mozilla Firefox, generic browser type, and I have noticed that. So I can tell down to what browser and what device is being used to listen to our podcast. That's something that the podcast aggregates actually track, and then I get that information back from our podcast host. So I could tell you that the Chrome browser is the number one way people find us. Apple Core Media, which is Apple Podcasts, is how we get listened to the most usually. Sometimes it's a little bit different per episode.
I have Chrome on my phone though, but it's there is because it's reporting that it's my phone. It's the Chrome browser on my phone.
Yeah, I see Chrome browser. I see Chrome now. It doesn't break down Chrome, iPhone, Chrome, Android by type or whatever, but it does tell me Chrome mobile, Chrome desktop.
Okay, right. Okay.
I don't have a year for this, but I did just find a factoid that Leichtman Research Group found that 85% of Netflix users stream from a TV.
Okay.
Which means that leaves 15% for all mobile devices and PC and consoles and Fire Sticks.
That makes sense to me. Yeah. I mean, it does. With the advent of smart TVs, it makes sense to me. Most of your laymen are going to say, I want a big-ass TV.
Yeah, so I want stuff.
Yeah, because right now you can go to a Best Buy and buy a 55-inch TCL TV that's UHD 4K, has Roku built in, and comes with Netflix preloaded, right? So I understand. I totally get that. And honestly, that's cheaper than buying most phones. Mm-hmm. So it totally makes sense. It's definitely cheaper than assembling a desktop, right? Mm-hmm. Like when you consider the entire package of desktop, monitor, keyboard, mouse, and accessories, and the kind of thing and the kind of setup you're going to need, it makes sense to go TV. I totally get that. That being said, you're punishing an extremely small segment of your audience, which means that they're not the mass consumers of bandwidth. For the less, I'm going to speculate that less than 0.1% of their users are trying to steal their content. They're just trying to consume it.
Yeah, but with that kind of a breakdown, though, like you pointed out, where the people are who are going to be trying to pirate your content are. They're in that 15%. That's not very big compared to 85.
If there's anything we know about big companies is they will go above and beyond the required Call of Duty to kill pirating.
Yeah,
they will ruin their own service.
My question is rhetorical. I understand why. But fuck off. like stop that shit. Let's be reasonable here. You're not losing any money. You're losing none. The people that are willing to pirate your stuff are willing to go to more lengths than just, oh shit, I can't do it for my PC to pirate your shit. They can still absolutely do it from their PC still. They can do it from intercepting your stream with something as simple as an Elgato capture card for $60. So let's not pretend that it can't be stolen by other means, and the people that are willing to steal it are still going to steal it.
I guess what we're trying to say is let us see clearly now.
Yes.
That Halo's gone.
I wouldn't mind if Halo goes away. You see, Josh and I watched the second episode of the Halo TV show.
It was Okay, like I tried to remain.
Optimistic.
I was going to say optimistic.
Yeah.
I would say I was optimistic
Same.
about the first episode.
Same.
Now the second episode had some good stuff in it. It did. Just there wasn't enough of it. And like I do not like the precedent they're setting where Porn Stash spends like 2/3 of the episode just
That's
walking,
Master Chief, by the way.
walking around without his helmet on. Like I don't like that. Like give him like you get 1 2-minute scene per episode. Come on.
I mean, that's under the assumption that they give a shit at all about Halo.
But now I was also glad to see that like they showed the other Spartans' faces at the very least. It's like, okay, if you're going to show Master Chief's face, then I want to see what everyone else looks like.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus, Mickey Rourke.
No, I mean,
I don't know who the third one is.
it was none of those people.
It's none of them. Sorry, bro.
It would have been a much better show, right?
Probably.
And then I don't know. There was one. They have this base, and recently I've been into more hard science fiction with like a bit of a
You can't get off to Space Wizards anymore?
I mean, I still can. It just has to have a lightsaber.
Gotcha.
But watching the asteroid field that they had somehow tethered together, like, hurt my Expanse heart. Like, I was like, that's not a thing. Stop that. Stop it. But there's some cool scenes, just not enough. Now the good news
there are some really bad scenes.
The
Though.
good news is it's hard to imagine it getting any worse.
Yeah.
So
We're at rock bottom,
Hopefully
baby.
it's all up from here.
yeah.
Now I do want to mention that while we've talked shit about the Halo show quite a bit, I'm still going to continue to watch for another
Same.
couple episodes. I want to see where it goes. I am genuinely interested in seeing where it goes from here.
Genuinely a masochist. I gotcha.
Well, I also like watching car crashes on TV. So, like, I mean, kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's genuinely out of morbid curiosity that I want to find out what's going on. That said, if you are curious about the show and you don't want to watch it on a streaming service that'll just like look like absolute garbage on your PC, check it out on YouTube. The first episode of the Halo TV series is free on YouTube. I don't know if it's a limited time thing. There's no indicator as to how long it's going to be up. But the Paramount Plus YouTube channel has the first episode of Halo up for free, so you can kind of make your own decision on whether you like the Halo show or not. And I would love to hear your feedback on the Halo show, whether it be contacting us on our Twitch live stream or leaving us a voicemail at videogametango.com or writing us at Andy at videogametango.com, Nick at videogametango.com, Josh at videogametango.com. We'd appreciate any and all feedback that we get from you guys, especially as far as the Halo TV series goes. I want to get like a general consensus from our audience about how much they like it or dislike it.
I want you to tell us anything. We need words.
The really unfortunate thing is it's getting decent reviews.
I'm not surprised by that. I'm honestly not surprised by that. There's going to be a lot of folks. The Wheel of Time fell into this same category for a lot of people. There's a lot of hardcore Jordan fans, Sanderson fans. He finished up the series that were disappointed in the show. I kind of dig where they're going with it. I understand that they're giving the show its own space. The backdrop is the story, but they're telling their own story in the flavor of Wheel of Time. And I think that's what they're doing here with Halo. They're telling some sort of story in the flavor of Halo. I feel like there is still some potential here, but if you're a fanboy of Halo, this is not. If you were
just don't watch the show.
Well, here, okay. So let me read a Google review real quick from Sean M.
All right, Sean, what do you got?
Sean M. about the first episode of the Halo TV series says, "I have been an avid fan of the Halo universe since its inception. This is worth watching. While it is easy to be deterred by sentiment to the original Halo Combat Evolved story, which is yet to be seen, patience is key. It is obvious, even from the first episode, that the producers have taken every effort to accommodate the entirety of the Halo universe and lore, using a lot of source material in order to set the stage in a simple, progressive, yet engaging adaptation. I'm wary of what might come, given video game adaptations have often been unsuccessful or disappointing, but so far, Paramount has made an awesome start. Personally, I'm eager to start watching, and to others, I'd simply say, no matter what your opinion is after, you won't regret giving it a watch. If you are loyal to strictly the game story elements only, you might be confused or disappointed even. But if you keep an open mind to the larger story and see how well the plot is already forming, I dare say you will watch and want to rewatch. This sentiment is echoed frequently in all the reviews that I've seen, and most of them are 5 stars.
It's either paid reviews or fanboyism.
Yeah, and 84% of people liked this show.
Well, I feel like if you watch it with somebody, like if you have a friend over and y'all are watching it together, you're gonna have more fun watching the show.
I agree with that.
I watched the second episode. I watched it with one of our friends here, and it was more fun. But when I rewatched the first episode by myself, I actually had a bit of a harsher opinion on it because I was by myself and I wasn't oohing and ahhing, and honestly, I was looking for more mistakes because we were trying to critique it. But I had less fun when there was no one around. Same thing when I rewatched the second episode. I was like, as much as I didn't like it the first time, I like it less the second time.
Yeah, I can understand why people are giving this a good review for the same reason that the Transformers movies make a lot of money.
Sure.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. I get it.
Spectacle.
It certainly is a spectacle. And, I don't like it.
I also fear there's a bit of anticipation, you know? I mean, maybe a lot of folks have been chomping at the bit for
10
a
years.
live action Halo.
I honestly, I'd never really wanted a Halo TV show. Now, we there was a lot of talk about Halo movies back in the day, and my thoughts were Halo wouldn't make a good movie. If you were to put it on screen, give it a TV show, right? I think it needs...
I think Halo would make an excellent movie. I think ODST would make an amazing TV show.
I think the opposite. I think ODST
Halo's
would be...
way too large scale to fit into like a TV show format. It needs to be a big, bombastic thing.
I mean, it can be.
It could be,
Yeah.
but it's like, so far it isn't.
Give it a Game of Thrones budget and call it... Of course, they're doing that with the Halo TV show as is, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think ODST would be an interesting movie. I think you could really condense that into a couple hours and get something good out of it, whereas like you'd be missing quite a bit of... Because you can make a really small condensed story with the ODSTs, whereas like Master Chief already has an established
My
story.
main comparison in my head right now is Starship Troopers, the movie, versus Roughnecks, the series.
Yeah.
Like kid nostalgia aside, like seeing a bunch of soldiers dealing with these bugs over the course of a series is similar to like watching Star Wars or the Clone Troopers. You know, they might both be good or bad depending on your opinion, but when you have a military troop of people that you can get attached to over a show, you know, maybe compare it to like Saving Private Ryan versus, I don't know, a military TV show off the top of my head, but I feel like the more human element side of Halo lends itself well to an episodic content that you can develop and grow the characters, whereas Halo is like, we need to stop this gigastructure before the universe dies, right?
Sure.
You know, I mean, it would still make a good show because that's like kind of spoilers. The Expanse kind of leans in that direction, but it's a much different take on it. But you know, I guess maybe they're both good. I don't know.
Maybe they both cater to both.
Problem is they haven't made either of them. So
yeah, unfortunately. So we do have more gaming news. E3 2022 is officially canceled.
No more E's. We ran out.
That includes the digital-only event. So they will not have the online-only event for E3, including the release of all the game trailers, announcements. They're just not doing anything this year.
We have the Game Awards for that now.
That's kind of true, and that's what I'm thinking, is E3 has lost relevance. So unless they can restructure and figure out how to become relevant in 2023, I don't know that they're coming back. It does say, so a spokesperson for the ESA, which is who runs the Electronics Entertainment Expo, told VentureBeat that E3 will return in 2023, with an reinvigorated showcase that celebrates new and exciting video games and industry innovations.
I think they need to do a 3-tier package program where you have essential, extra, and experience.
Experience plus.
Premium. Yeah.
Premium.
But no, yeah, we're talking about like, it used to be a place where journalists and industry people would go in person and then stream that shit to everyone else, all of us included. And we got to see this inside look at the industry back before this shit was the norm on the internet. But like the internet's the internet now. Like, an in-person thing is kind of like, why spend all this money making these bombastic, I use the word twice this episode, it's awful, these giant, floor displays for journalists when like you can just reach out directly to your audience online through YouTube or Twitch or whatnot. But the fact that they're not even doing a digital thing tells me that it's just too much money.
Yeah.
They're not going to spend the money on it. Like you said, with Game Awards kind of taking over the trailer scene, what is left for E3 other than history?
Yeah. For sure.
No good.
On the tails of that, we've got some huge news.
Oh.
Huge.
I want to bring up the PlayStation 6.
Oh, yeah. We should have probably not buried the lead.
So, there is no news. It's non-news. I just need to say the word PlayStation 6 so I can clickbait people into watching and listening to this episode.
You've been debated.
So now that we've said PlayStation 6, we can move on.
A few sad and funny and stupid things. There was a official Formula One game with NFTs in it, and the game is now shut down, making all those NFTs practically worthless.
We got them.
I believe I read that someone spent upwards of $300,000 on one of these. All the more proof that NFTs are a waste of your time and wallet. A couple good news things. Horizon Forbidden West has quietly added a feature allowing you to pick up crafting materials just by running over them, making your survival sandbox experience that much smoother and easier. More importantly, there is a secret feature, quote unquote secret, in Horizon Forbidden West, where if you go into the options under settings general, you can set it so that 2 controllers can control Aloy at the same time. That seems extremely weird and an amazing idea for a new video game based off that, like Octodad or something. But what this reviewer is saying is he has a 7-year-old son, and he could let his 7-year-old son play. And if his son got into trouble, he could quickly press the heal button mid-combat when the son wasn't focused on staying alive to allow the son to continue. What a brilliant fucking idea. I'm sure there's other ways you could use dual controls in a game, but allowing a parental figure or an older person to guide a player through the game. I do that. I play with my nieces and nephews. I would love that feature. Yeah. That's really cool. So a couple little good news things. One other thing we missed in the first part of the podcast where we had to restart is that SNK is now owned by an evil man. Don't buy SNK games. And the new Chrono Cross remaster is another bare bones bullshit Square Enix port.
I mean, I have stuff to say about all of those things. So
I didn't know if they were important enough to talk about other than things are shitty.
Absolutely. So let's go back to the NFT game. Mm-hmm. So how is that different than what's the space game where people are buying ships like fucking crazy that I can't remember the name of right this second?
I don't know.
Please don't say No Man's Sky.
No, it's not.
Are there NFTs? I mean, the two that come to mind are Horizon Zero,
Star Citizen.
Thank
you, chat.
Elite Dangerous. Yeah.
So Star Citizen. How is this any different than Star Citizen? Because I mean, people are just buying these now. The game is inside unseen. The game is still being made, but people are spending tens of thousands of dollars on ships that are coming out for a game that isn't out.
I don't know if those were NFTs.
They're not NFTs, but that's what I'm saying.
Difference. I mean, Star Citizen
so just name
came
only
out in
ships versus NFTs.
No, well, I mean, it's DLC versus NFTs, right? So Star Citizen was announced in 2012. I don't know. It came out 2014, 2015. You could pay $10,000 on the Kickstarter and get a unique ship.
Yeah.
It wasn't an NFT. It was essentially like a DLC. Pay X amount of money, get this extra content. Anybody that paid that $10,000 could get that ship.
But it's exclusive content to only those people that paid that $10,000.
Okay, well, that's news to me, so I'm not the right person to ask. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like that's anytime you open up the game, you have that ship. No one else actually has like that ship. I don't know. I feel like
other people can have that ship, but I think
it's like kind of physical thing that you can
another good way
in
to
the
put
game
it,
that you're cruising around on. It's not just a picture of the gun.
Let's slow down for a second. I think I have a good explanation.
Okay.
Someone who pays 10 grand, let's assume it's a unique ship. No one else can have that. When they bought that back in the 2010s, they were not under the assumption that they were buying a receipt for a non-fungible token. They're under the assumption that I bought this ship, and for as long as I play this game, and assuming there's no way to lose the ship in game, it's going to be mine.
Yeah.
And they're fully aware that if I ever stop playing this game or this game shuts down, I no longer have it. A lot of people getting in NFTs, I'm assuming, are thinking, I can pay real money and I'm investing in this thing that will maybe grow in value that I can then sell later because it's this unique token. That doesn't mean shit when the game shuts down a year or two after it releases, because no one's going to buy an NFT for a game that doesn't exist anymore. So I imagine it kind of comes down to perception. The people who originally bought these unique ships, again, assuming they're unique in Star Citizen, knew that they were essentially just buying what amounted to the only person who gets this DLC.
They're buying. It's more than cosmetics, because some of these ships do serve extra functions.
This chat talking about cosmetics. Yeah, I'm sure they probably have in-game benefits. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is that what that is a commission. You've commissioned by buying this thing, and you're getting a ship, you're getting a thing.
Something.
The NFT is being advertised as a investment opportunity, like a fucking timeshare or some fucking bullshit like that. And all it is it's a fucking scam. Like,
is it though? Like, I mean,
it is that they shut the game off. Like
Star Citizen to me feels more honest. They're like, hey, give us the fucking money and you get a cool thing in game.
Let's establish what the NFTs for this game are. Are they like?
It doesn't matter because the game shut down.
But you still own the asset after the game shuts down.
But you can't access the asset because the game doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, could you request the renders for it?
Who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy it?
It doesn't necessarily mean that anybody's going to buy it, but at least you own it, right? Whereas in terms of Star Citizen,
devil's advocate aside, you see what I'm saying though, right? Someone spent $100,000 on an NFT car in a game, then the game is no longer running. So maybe so let's say they give you the file for that car.
Yeah.
So
I'm not playing devil's advocate at all. So in Star Citizen, if the game shuts down and you've spent $150,000 on a ship, that ship is gone.
But you knew that when you bought it, and you were not told that this ship is an investment that's going to grow in value, that you might be able to sell for more money later. They knew that the moment they paid that money was gone. There was no assumption that I'm investing money into a ship that I'm going to be able to sell later. It was, I'm just paying $10,000 for the right to be the only person that has this ship in this game.
Yeah.
Right. That's just a peacock thing. So again, it's just the idea that like you're buying NFTs in something. You would think maybe an official F1 Formula One game would last a while, maybe if you're into Formula One, but to me that reeks of danger.
To me, the investment still. I mean, we call these investments, right? They're not. They're just not.
That's what they want you to think NFTs are.
Yeah, if you're buying NFTs and anticipating them to grow in value, you're fucking dumb at this point. Like, you're stupid. Stop it.
I would hope we can teach someone at least that.
Like, what the only people that have benefited from this. Okay, you do have your crypto millionaires that really did rags to riches. But those are the only people that are controlling the market for NFTs. Stop feeding them money.
They got into it early. They're at the top, and you're only going to make them richer if you try.
Yeah.
I feel like the Formula One game is a perfect example of pumping and dumping. A couple of people got really wealthy off of this, and a couple of people really fucking did not.
Yeah, there's no laws against saying you can make a game, you put NFTs in it, people give you, one guy spent $300,000 in this Formula One game, and they're like, oh, well, we're going to shut the game down now. Like, thanks for all your money. You know, like, what are you going to, there's nothing, you can't sue them.
To me, the ship in Star Citizen is like a really expensive coat that you bought for yourself, but now have gotten too fat to wear.
Yeah, assuming Star Citizen shuts down, which it's still going. You know?
It is. I mean, the shutdown of Star Citizen is inevitable. It's an online game.
Well, shutdown of any game essentially is going to eventually happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So assuming that it's going to shut down, I get that there is a difference, but the difference almost feels only semantic.
I disagree.
Some people are getting tricked by NFTs, is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Those people who bought those ships in Star Citizen knew the moment they spent the money that they weren't getting the money back.
It was for.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about it.
That's where the difference lies.
Yeah. No, it's the shit drives me nuts. Because, like, the introduction into NFTs into the gaming space, you would think the gamers are smarter than this. You would think that they're, like, looking at the overall picture of NFTs here.
You'd hope so.
You would hope so, right? But I also don't feel bad for anybody losing $300,000 on an NFT for an F1 game. They've got $300,000 more than I do, so I could give a fuck less. But they probably bought it with Ethereum, and it's probably a crypto bro from the get-go, right?
I can't imagine spending $300,000 on anything digital ever.
I mean, the people that are buying $300,000 NFTs are the people that made money in crypto. I would venture to say, they made money in crypto and they're gambling with it now.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, that's how I view it. Especially when you're talking about $300,000. Get the fuck out of here. Like, if you were going to invest in a game, $300,000 in a Kickstarter gets a game fucking made, versus an NFT. Fuck off. Like, you know what you're getting into at this point. If you're willing to spend $300,000, maybe get some sound financial advice from somebody that does that for a living. I don't know. I just don't feel bad about it.
Also, no way to to know for sure that the guy who invested $3,000 is the loser in this. Like, it could be everybody who invested $100 for the things. You know, like that's
fair. His it may have accrued some
and
some
that's
value.
why you make a big investment, you make a bigger who the fuck knows what these crypto bros honestly do. But it's like there's nothing saying that the guy who invested the big money is the loser in this.
What's the next article that you brought up?
I got a good one because a lot of bad news.
Well, hold on, because
you want to go back to the ones I covered quickly. The Forbidden West has a couple features. One's new, the auto pickup of loot in the open world.
Which is a great
streamlining mechanic for your
I could
game.
rant about this being a good or bad thing.
Sure.
I don't know if we have time for that. More of a forest for the trees thing. But then the hidden feature that it's quote unquote hidden according to the news article. People might have seen it, but it's not something I would have looked for. A setting that allows two controllers to control the main character at the same time.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that seems like the entire shtick of a game. You would think that would have been put out front.
Dude, little brother mode, like how did it take this long to think of that?
Yeah, like I mean not only why haven't they thought of that yet, but now that it's out there, put that in every game.
Yes.
Good Lord. We were talking about this before the stream. Like, imagine an 8-player game where all players are playing one character and you just have to get them to do like an Octodad kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like you're just a dude trying to make coffee.
Right.
You've got, Twitch plays TV kind of situation going on.
We were doing that with QWOP.
Yeah, multiple people
controlling multiple
the same
parts.
thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And the article also points out another good thing. Anybody with dexterity or physical limitations, now you can have someone handling the analog sticks while the other people press the buttons.
Especially with how little
fucking win-win.
Yeah, and Sony has spent very little R&D on accessibility as far as their controllers go. In fact, they keep making them slightly less accessible to players by adding more features that maybe you can't reach. Little hands, I can't imagine have an easy time reaching that trackpad.
Yeah. Apparently, Xbox users have been able to use a co-pilot option similar to this from the console's main options since the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
So
that's good to know.
That's part of their accessibility features. Have you ever seen the Xbox? I can't remember what it's called, but it's an accessibility controller.
I mean, I've seen accessibility controllers, but most of them are user-made. I don't know.
Or
is there a first-party one?
It's called the adaptive controller, and
it's got the giant pads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the thing is fucking fantastic. Now cool. the way it comes out, it may not be usable for any differently abled person, but it has so many options for adding peripherals to it that it works for just about anybody. As long as you have some movement of your body, they've got eye tracking features. It can adjust for eye tracking. It can adjust for mouth tracking. Blinking works. It's excellent.
That's crazy.
It's fantastic. People with missing limbs, people with missing digits. This makes those pretty much every game accessible to everybody. I think Microsoft has done an excellent job with the adaptive controller. There's a documentary out on it that I encourage everybody to watch. I'll find the name of it before we end the podcast, but it's super cool.
That's really I didn't know they were doing something like that. It's so refreshing to see.
They've been doing it for a long time.
A first party, especially a first party, because a lot of the times, like you were saying, when you get
like
the
somebody
special
making
controller,
a unique controller for a given disability.
Yeah.
But you could order that. Like you could order that. Yeah. That's cool.
This brings to mind a thing that could be a whole topic in and of itself. It's only tangentially related. I'll make it quick. But every once in a while, maybe once a year, I hop back on and play MUDs, multi-user dungeons. They're called other things. They're essentially text-based games that are online, and you play with other people. And I recently tried one that I haven't played in a couple of years. And I met somebody on it, and they were running me through the beginning quest and helping me out. And come to find out, they're 100% blind. It's a text-based game, and they had a screen reader play the entire thing. Because I'm an extremely quick typer, and I understand that most people aren't, so I'm very patient. But this person was taking a long time to reply, to the point where I thought they were going AFK, and I was worried that they had separated because we were trying to do this quest. So I'd ask them are you still there? And it'll be just a second. I'm blind. I was like, oh, okay. And I was it's kind of still neat that these games that came out in the 70s and 80s and died in the 90s, people are still playing because it's accessible. And it would be cool to see more games. And because of that, I actually looked up, I tried to find games for blind people. And I've only found little tiny indie ones. But on itch.io, I did find one that was essentially a maze-based game, but it was audio only. And it used the headphone surround sound dealy where you can hear the sound coming from different parts, whatever that
probably Dolby Surround.
Dolby Surround. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you essentially had echolocation. They said if you're sighted, just close your eyes to play this game, and all you used was the up, down, left, and right keys, and you had to make your way through this maze through sound alone. It was really cool. It's it'd be fun to see more games come out that don't necessarily use sight alone. But anyways, side topic.
So I can't find thank you. That gave me enough time to try and look for the documentary. I would look up a short film, Spencer Allen. So Spencer Allen is a quadriplegic, and you get to see his custom setup when it comes to the adaptive controller. And it's really cool, the amount of accessories that you can put in the adaptive controller to make it work for pretty much any differently abled person. It's pretty incredible, the inputs that it has. Yeah, I mean, it itself is a dedicated input device to add dedicated input devices for people that are differently abled across any spectrum.
Great to see that.
It's really cool. Yeah, especially when you have really cool inventors that are making 3D printed parts for it and stuff like that. So really cool to see that stuff come out.
Bring the Power Glove back.
Damn straight.
Yeah. I'm an old Square Enix fan. We grew up on their games, and I have tested a lot of their recent remasters and ports over the last 10 years to various devices. They're notoriously shit. They remastered Chrono Cross recently. It's bare bones, says the headline, and I'm not surprised. Square Enix has really, besides Final Fantasy XIV, if you look at the track record of their mobile and their port games over the last 5-10 years, they're just shit in the bed.
Yeah.
It's just bad. It's just money-grubbing nonsense. Like the Chocobo GP, I don't know if we talked about that, but it's a new racing game they came out with.
We did briefly a few podcasts
targeted
ago.
Towards kids, and it's just full of freemium bullshit. And everything they can do to try to squeeze every last penny out of you. Stop it. Please, just, we want these remasters of games. Your audience are these 30 and 40-year-olds who grew up on these. You don't need to nickel and dime us. Just put out a working version with a couple updated textures. I don't care if it's $20, $30. Just stop fucking with it and making it bad.
Yeah.
Please.
Did they, though? If it's bare bones, it sounds like they probably just did a fidelity update and pushed it. For Chrono Cross specifically.
I'd have to read more. It's one article I saw.
Because what I saw when I was trying to look through the news cycle was that it was a good port. So I mean, as long as the game works and
Maybe
it
I'm
looks like it's got, it's a high resolution, then I think that's a good. I think that is a good remake, right? Redoing the game is a whole other thing, like a Final Fantasy VII remake. That was a very different deal. Remade from the ground up, almost nothing stayed the same. Not even dialogue, right?
I mean, list of things the reviewer had troubles with. Pre-rendered backgrounds like blurry. The 3D character models stick out like a sore thumb against new environments. Combat, there's stuttering. There are no more save states, no option to switch graphic styles. The full motion videos have not been upscaled, and the HD fonts are out of place due to the inaccuracy. I mean, you can see a picture.
Yeah, no, that's a shitty port.
That looks like a bad port.
Yeah, that's ass.
They have a classic mode. I mean, if this is the updated version, it goes from looking bad upscaled to, again, bare bones. I mean, they could have done a better job than that. So, I don't know.
I mean, if the price is right? Like if this costs less than $20, I think it's fine. That they just did a little bit of upscale and threw some polish on it, like a little spit polish. I think that's fine for sub $20, especially since it's a game that, like we talked about earlier, getting your hands on probably even Game of the Year edition version of Chrono Cross is probably pretty difficult at this point.
Yeah.
The game is 20-something years old, so probably pretty difficult to get your hands on it. So, I mean, getting it out there and letting people play what was arguably a good RPG, I don't think that's a bad thing as long as the price is right. Like, if they're raking you over the coals for $40, it's not okay.
This one's 20, but they've got a Live a Live remaster coming out for $50. Legend of Mana is $30. I mean, that's a Super Nintendo game.
$20 is the most I'm willing to spend on a remaster like that. I think $20 is fine. $20 is what it cost me to get into the movie theater with popcorn, right? Yeah. So I think that's okay for a re-release. Something that I really want to play. If I want to play it, I'll spend the $20.
Exactly.
I think that's okay, but any more than that, I think it's a money
grubby.
Yeah,
grubby.
I don't like it.
One last thing, a Twitch streamer has recently beat Elden Ring.
Yeah. Without
damage of any kind. Now, note that a streamer, Gino Machino, on March 13th, managed to do a no-hit run of Elden Ring, which is fantastic. But like most of these things are, he has been one-upped. Twitch streamer Seki, S-E-K-I, has now done a no-damage run, meaning that not only have they not been hit, they haven't taken any poison damage, any fall damage, any environmental damage of any kind. 130 hours of attempts. And in an interview, he said that surprisingly, there wasn't one little minor part that in a normal game would be easy, but in this is hard, except for literally the last fight of the game. He said that there's a well-known attack the last boss does that you can interrupt in the most minor of ways if you're very careful, but if you fuck it up, you get hurt.
Yeah. And
he said he had multiple runs through the game, no damage at all, and it would ruin it against the last boss and have to start over.
Sure.
So, for those of you that do play the game, of course, he's not taking a break. They aren't. I don't know Seki's gender. But next they are going to attempt what did he say? A all remembrance no-hit run, which he calls a true test of skill. If you want to know, it is a dexterity intelligence build, probably with some bullshit katana, because it's a dex build. Right?
Yeah.
Moonveil Katana. There it is.
Oh,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know about that
spell
weapon.
called Rock Sling to help clear out mobs. So if you want to attempt to hate yourself on a new level,
do this.
Do that.
Well, did you hear about Elden Ring's world record-setting any percent speedrun?
No.
17 minutes and 43 seconds.
That's
Yowza.
Fucking crazy.
With glitches, I assume.
I haven't watched the video. Yeah.
I figured a couple hours for a glitchless run, maybe like 45 minutes.
But under 18 minutes is fucking crazy. Yeah, there has to be exploitation happening there. I don't see a clean run happening.
Yeah.
I do have a couple more things that I want to talk about.
Okay.
They're kind of nothing stories, but one's a game announcement, which I am excited about. Before that, let's get into Ubisoft making a hero shooter battle royale.
Battler.
Probably with more NFTs because
I mean, dude, it's Ubisoft, so you know it's going to be they're going to come out with Hero Shooter Battle Royale Boogaloo 2 in a year, and it's going to have more DLC than you can shake a stick at.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to use the Ubisoft launcher, and it's probably not going to be available on Steam. But I bet you they're going to have lots of haystacks that you can jump into, lots of things that you can climb to uncover parts of the map.
Apparently, you have to break your way through a series of breakable and unbreakable gates that must be overcome in randomized patterns. It's like that Japanese game show where you have to fit through the hole.
Yeah, you have to get through the hole, yeah.
There will also be AI enemies. And I'm sure it'll be $190 for the Ultimate Edition.
Probably.
$280 for the Stan Edition.
So it's called Pathfinder. It's a PvP VE Battle Royale. With players having to battle both AI enemies and other competitors as they work their way to the center of the map to defeat a boss-like enemy. So it almost feels like a little bit of BR meets Lanes, like BR meets what's the word that I'm trying to think of here, Nick?
I don't know.
Smite, League of Legends. Oh my God, please help me.
I don't think it's a MOBA.
It almost sounds like MOBA BR.
It sounds like they threw NPCs into a MOBA.
Well, and you have to.
I'm sorry, not into
and
a MOBA.
the goal
NPCs
is to work your way towards the center of a map to defeat a boss-like enemy. So it's not the other side of the map, but
yeah, it's at least closer to a MOBA than Apex.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's kind of hybrid-y. A little mating of two genres. I don't know. At this point, like if you're jumping into the Battle Royale game as a AAA studio, what's wrong with you?
They're just gonna take your money.
Well, not mine. And then another one. So an actual game announcement. If you liked Hyperlight Drifter, really cool top-down, well-made hack and slash, pretty tight hack and slash. We've got Hyperlight Breaker. It's being announced for early access early next year, the year of our Lord 2023. Mm-hmm. But a follow-up to Hyperlight Drifter, it looks like it's actually going to be fully 3D. You're going to be able to wall dash and hoverboard and glide across ever-changing environments. But it also features co-op.
Yeah. Looking a little Risk of Rainy.
Yeah, a little bit. It very much reminds me of the vibes of Risk of Rain, which I like a lot.
Yeah, you like Risk of Rain.
I love Risk of Rain. Yeah. Easily top 20, 25 games. It's one of my most played games on Steam. Art style looks fucking awesome. Can't wait to play it.
It does look pretty cool.
Yeah. That said, I think that's about it. Do we have anything else we want to bring to the table today, guys?
I'm about to hit 1,000 hours in Stellaris. I might stream that.
Yeah,
we can make a meme nation, take over the universe with I already said it this month. I can't say it again. Josh, say it for me.
Clissy.
United Coalition.
The Clissy Coalition.
The Clissy
That's a mouthful is what it is.
That is
a mouthful of Clissy, baby.
Mouthful of Clissy.
Yeah. So I'd just like to bring up Moon Knight. It premiered actually last week as well. And it's 2 episodes are out. I highly recommend. I feel like it is a very neat show right now. Marvel's really pushing that PG-13 rating on this one. There's a couple of times where I felt a little spooky, and like some of the characters really neat. Oscar Isaac is knocking it the fuck out of the park. So give that a check.
Hell yeah.
That's it for me.
All right, well, I think that's it for me. How about you there, Nick?
Podcast.
Hey, well, thank you everybody for watching, listening, and watching.
Who watchings the watchers?
Nobody does. Thank you so much again. We appreciate you. Remember, if you want to watch us live, head on over to twitch.tv/videogametango so you can watch the epic faux pas that we do like tonight, which is the reason for a slightly shorter than average episode. I'll find a way to sprinkle that in somewhere. Check out our YouTube. It's Video Game Tango. Twitch.tv/VideoGameTango. Twitter.com/VideoGameTango. It's everything.com/VideoGameTango. Head over to VideoGameTango.com.
I'll see you there.
Buy our merch. We love you.
Yes.